More than 2 years ago, doctors in China were dealing with a number of patients who were experiencing shortness of breath and fever. They were suffering from pneumonia, but the doctors didn't know what caused it. The cases were connected to a seafood wholesale market in Wuhan. Soon the illness that became known widespread as COVID-19 was quickly becoming a global pandemic. The U.S. confirmed its first case in Washington state on January 20th, 2020. Subsequent cases were discovered in Chicago and California within days. The CDC believes that the novel coronavirus likely originated in bats and then jumped to humans. Since then, COVID-19 has killed more than 6 million people and perhaps many more. Ahead of this year's Earth Day, we are looking at the connection between humans and the Earth we're living on. We're starting with a discussion about an increasingly common problem, diseases that make the leap from animals to people. Joining me now is David Quammen. He is the author of the 2012 book, Spillover, Animal Infections and the Next Human Pandemic. David, welcome. In so many ways, it seems like you were prescient about what we're going through right now. You wrote an article in the New York Times back in January of 2020 in which you said, quote, "We must remember when the dust settles that COVID-19 was not a novel event or a misfortune that befell us. It is part of a pattern of choices that we humans are making." David, explain, what are these choices that we're making, and have we learned to make better choices?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. No, we have not yet learned to make better choices. The choices that we're making fall into three categories that represent causes of the problems that we're having: ecological disruption, burning of fossil fuels, and mass production animal husbandry. The first two of those are pretty familiar to people, but some people aren't aware how important mass production animal husbandry can be in terms of endangering us to viruses that live in wild animals and that sometimes spill over into domestic animals and then into humans. There are 33 billion chickens on this planet right now, for instance. So those are the choices we're making. We have multiplied to the point that there are almost 8 billion of us. We have done this mass production, animal husbandry, and we're burning fossil fuels. And so we're getting loss of biological diversity, climate change, and the threat of pandemic disease.
David, the CDC has concluded that the first known case of animal to human COVID spillover likely happened in Michigan when 4 people were infected with a coronavirus strain connected to minks. But the CDC also says that this type of infection, the risk of it is low. What should we understand about virus transmission between humans and animals in order to better prepare for future pandemics?
Well, the first thing we should understand is that this planet is filled with viruses. All of the species of wild animals and plants and fungi and bacteria carry their own viruses. There are untold numbers of viruses. And just in mammals and birds, I've seen one estimate of more than 1.5 million unique viruses belonging to those families that are capable of adapting quickly to different hosts and getting into humans. So we have these viruses all around us, and as we interact with wild animals by disrupting ecosystems, going in, building timber camps in tropical forests, building mining camps, we expose ourselves to the viruses that live in other animals. And those viruses are capable of spilling into us, adapting quickly because they tend to evolve quickly, these particular viruses, and becoming human pathogens, and then spreading around the world quickly because we are not only so numerous, we humans, we are also so interconnected.
David, does climate change also impact the diseases we're being confronted with?
Well, it does to some extent. Climate change expands the ranges of, for instance, of mosquitoes and other insect and arthropod vectors that carry diseases. So, for instance, yellow fever, carried by a particular kind of mosquito that is usually a tropical mosquito. As we change climate and as warm temperatures move northward toward the North Pole, southward, it expands the range of the yellow fever mosquito and lots of other insects, ticks, and other arthropods that carry some of these very dangerous viruses. So yes, climate change is related to this. It's not the sole cause, but it's definitely related.
You know, David, as you're talking about how climate change is allowing animals to travel more, I'm also thinking about how we as humans travel more. We've been discussing, obviously, that the CDC has decided to extend the mask mandate on planes until May 3rd. How does human travel and our ability to be across the globe in a matter of hours also have an impact on the global spread of these types of viruses?
Well, it's hugely important, the fact that we are so interconnected. We are shipping products around the world. We're shipping live animals around the world. We're shipping ourselves around the world. And so when this virus emerged in the city of Wuhan, it was only a matter of time, and not much time, before it got to an airport, before it got to the Wuhan airport. And Wuhan is a very connected city. So very quickly, it was turning up in Thailand, in Singapore, then in the United States and elsewhere, northern Italy. Viruses are capable of traveling very well by airplane. They can't walk, they can't run, they can't swim, they can't fly, but they ride. They ride in their hosts, they ride in humans.
And we do all of those things. All right, David Quammen, thank you.
You're very welcome.